Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. This is the Clutter Fairy Weekly for October 7th, 2025. I'm your co-host, Ed Gumnick, and I'm speaking with Gayle Goddard, certified professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? The Clutter Fairy Weekly is the webcast and podcast that digs deep into the clutter that piles up between you and the life that you want to be living. We explore the habits and behaviors that lead to clutter, and we suggest strategies to slow the accumulation, reduce the collection, and comfortably manage the stuff we decide to keep.
If you're new to our Zoom meeting, we want to let you know that you can share your comments and questions via the chat, and I'll try to make sure Gayle addresses them before we move on to another topic. You can also use the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment yourself via audio or video. And we are streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can share your questions and comments there, and I'll relay them to Gayle. We're going to start by recapping last week's Weekly Tittle, which was called Examine Your Zipper. The assignment was to leverage our X, Y, and Z decluttering ideas to make a bit of quick progress in your space. Let's hear from our participants in Zoom and on Facebook. Who did one of our X marks the spot, Y is for yes, or Z is for zester tittle exercises this week? Please let us know in the comments. I myself took a crack at doing the Z is for zester tittle exercise this week.
Good job.
Handing out the assignment in last week's show got me thinking about the drawers of miscellaneous stuff in our kitchen that hold all the less frequently needed tools and gadgets. I poked around in those drawers looking for anything about which I might have changed my mind in the 6 months since I unpacked stuff into the drawers when we moved here. The only thing that didn't make the cut was two plastic cookie cutters that came with a recipe book for homemade dog treats.
Oh,
Yeah, they're hard to use because they're kind of cheap plastic. And since they're shaped like bones, they leave a lot of waste material. So you have to constantly re-roll and cut the dough to use it all up. And so the last time I made a batch of homemade dog treats, I decided that there's no benefit to cutting them into cute shapes if it makes me reluctant to make dog treats at all. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
if the cutesy shape makes it harder,
Makes you
what's the point?
annoyed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And I have not yet had a dog say to me, "Well, yeah, no, this is shaped like a bone, so I can't eat it." You know?
Right.
So yeah, so the last time I
Oh.
made them, I switched to cutting up the dough with a pizza cutter instead, which is quicker, easier, and there's no waste. You cut it one time,
Right.
throw it on pans, stick it in the oven. And
Uh,
so it was kind of a no-brainer to toss those cookie cutters into our donation bag.
that is awesome. I forgot that you make doggy treats from scratch. Of course you would. And Hardy really does not care whether it's pizza shaped slices or not. Like it doesn't need to be a bone. So good job for figuring out that the cookie cutters were actually detracting from your willingness to do it and noticing that that was the piece that was jamming you up. And so, if the cookie cutters aren't working for you and they make you not want to do something, they do not need to be there. And good job on releasing them so that they're not in your kitchen taking up space anymore. And you're just like shoving them out of the way to get to the things that you want. So, that was a good thing to subtract.
Well, and I it I always go to the meta level when we're talking about, clutter fairy kind of stuff. When I'm
Yeah.
looking at the stuff in my own house, I'm not only thinking about how do I explain to people the issue with this thing, but also, what would I tell people who tried to make the argument, well, this is really the only thing I have that will make this dog bone shape. Well, how badly do you really need that dog bone shape? So,
Is that really that important, right?
yeah. So,
You're totally right. It's not, I'm guessing that there is no pause between offering the cut up by the pizza slicer piece or the dog bone piece. Like there's no distinction in terms of how hard and quickly the dog snatches it out of your hand to eat it.
yes, my dog treats are very popular. We have lots of dogs in this complex, and I carry a little bag
What
of
flavor
them.
do you make?
Lately, the recipe I've been using is pumpkin apple.
Oh,
It's got pumpkin apple, mint, parsley, whole wheat flour, and eggs.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of meant to be a homemade dental chew
Oh, right.
because dental chews cost like $1.50 a piece if you buy a bag of the name brand at the store.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So the things that you make, they come out really stiff?
Yeah, you cook them till they're almost completely dry. Yeah,
Oh,
they're pretty crunchy.
oh my.
Yeah. Um, let's get to some tittle reports.
Okay.
Let's see. Naomi said, I saw it here somewhere. I didn't quite get it out of the house, but almost all the plastic food containers are in the bin intended for donation.
Woohoo!
All,
Yay! Good job.
also a large, heavy flashlight. I still have a small one plus the flashlight on my phone.
Right?
On
Unless you
this,
intend to swing it and hit somebody with it, you really can let it go.
um, Ginger says, I got rid of a gadget. It's an oval shaped electric cooker. I think I used it once.
Oh.
I'm eyeing the apple corer slash peeler gadget. I used it once. Once. What a hassle.
Right? It's a hassle. And you know what? There's vitamins in the skin. Just eat it. Don't worry about it, right? You're giving yourself fiber.
Um, Jacqueline says we're leaving for vacation this week. We're driving
Oh,
across the country for a wedding in Colorado, and then we're
lovely.
stopping to visit my family in Tulsa. I have a suitcase and a large box full of things to bring to my parents. It gets rid of the things and also an extra piece of luggage. Why do I
There
have
you
so many
go.
suitcases?
I know. And you know what? I had the same problem when I moved. I'm like, I have like 10 pieces of luggage. Why the hell do I have 10 pieces of luggage? And then I realized they had like come when I would fly to North Carolina, and sometimes I would come home with an extra piece of luggage because of Christmas gifts, or mother was
Right,
sending something home for me with me, and I would have to take one of her pieces of luggage. And I realized some of them were so old, like when I went to go pull them out, like things were cracking off of them. It's like, yeah, these need to go. They helped me move things in the move, and that was their last hurrah. And they went, and some of them went into the trash, and some of them went to donation. They were ancient and they needed to be recycled.
Car says I did books, let go of 6 grocery sacks of books, and
Ooh,
took them the next day to half price books.
that's excellent. Good job.
All books fit on bookshelf in my office closet.
That's
Also,
excellent.
also P, procrastination, filed and shredded recycled papers.
Oh,
All done.
ooh, good
Used
job.
used virtual body doubling to accomplish it in less than 3 hours. Yay.
See, and it didn't take as long as you thought. That's awesome.
Deborah has a rebuttal. She says, I need that dog bone shape. I make them for my pup friends, but I use organic peanut butter and pumpkin.
Uh, that sounds like a good recipe too.
I think
I know
that
doggies like peanut
your
butter.
need for the dog bone shape is probably something that you and a good dog psychologist should talk through.
Oh my gosh. And we can say that because we've known Deborah for a really long
Yes,
time.
we have. We would not, I wouldn't sass all of
You
our
wouldn't
audience members
tease
quite
her
that
like
way.
that
Yeah.
unless we knew it was okay. Oh, that's funny.
Interesting comment. This is not a tittle report, but Naomi, you mentioned the book we're going to talk about
Yeah,
next
yeah,
week,
yeah.
and I should repeat because we hadn't started the
Oh,
recording at that
okay.
point. But
Yeah,
next week we're going to talk about ADD friendly ways to organize. That's our book topic. And
yeah.
no, Naomi said, I have tried and can't read the book. I don't seem to be able to focus my mind on a whole page of it at a time. And I noticed a similar problem. I had a harder time reading this book than the previous books. It was, it tended to send me down rabbit holes in my brain, thinking about my own situations
Uh-huh.
related to whatever part of the book I was reading. So we'll talk about that next week. But
Yeah, I think that, I think it is written in a way that appeals to people who have an ADHD brain and how their brain works. And so it's a little confusing for people whose brains don't work that way. And I think we're coming up against that wall a little bit. It doesn't read like we expect it to read for people that have neurotypical brain processing. And so, we're taking one for the team so that ADHD people can feel seen, and they can have a book that's easier for them to read. this
Yeah.
time around. So,
Okay, so sorry, that was a slight digression into next week's topic. Let's
right.
let's move on to this week's topic, which
Okay.
is the main bedroom. The main bedroom should be a quiet, peaceful sanctuary where we recharge ourselves and enjoy intimate moments. But when clutter invades, visual distractions and mental noise can drain our energy and diminish the quality of our sleep. Today, we're going to offer strategies for transforming your primary bedroom from a stress-inducing mess into a tranquil refuge.
We really love to get a sense of our audience's current pain points. So we created a survey about our audience's experience of clutter in the primary bedroom. And we started by asking participants about the current condition of their primary bedroom.
The
And
question we asked was share a word, a few words, a phrase, or more to describe the current or usual condition of your primary bedroom. And several people reported that they've already reached that peaceful bedroom. Anya says, a restful place with useful things and, very important, without a TV. Love it.
Anya, you just hit all the highlights as best as I can tell. A restful space, useful things, and no TV. I have never had a TV in the bedroom. It's a really hard line for me. I don't need the sound to go to sleep, and the light is a total distraction to me. I know lots of other people use the TV noise to fall asleep, though, and they're not really bothered by the light. I just can't do it. So I totally agree with you with the no TV in the bedroom thing. Do you have
Elle
one, Ed? You don't have one, do you?
No, we don't. We have from time to time, but we don't now. And in fact,
Mm,
we're observing a fairly strict no electronics in the bedroom. And we'll if we're expecting to lie in bed awake, like with coffee on a weekend morning, we'll
right.
allow a phone or a tablet in there for a little while, but it comes right back out afterwards. It doesn't, nothing, no electronics live in the bedroom.
I think that's a good thing. I think it's really helpful in terms of restful sleep anyway.
Okay, survey respondent L, just the letter L, says, our bedroom stays decluttered. We have a bed, two side tables, two dressers, and a few decorative items. I like my bedroom to be a place to relax at the end of the day.
So do I. Of all the places in the house, I think the bedroom should be the most calm place. We always head to bed with the least amount of energy left at the end of our reserves, needing the most recovery time. Of all the places, when we're at the tail end of our energy and capacity, we need the bedroom to be restful so we can start the recovery process overnight. Everything we can do to support getting that rest and recovery is worth the effort. Having a peaceful bedroom is really a priority in my mind.
Sandra says, our primary bedroom is a compromise between my minimalist taste and my husband's attachment to big pieces of furniture. With little decor, it works.
I'm really glad you made a compromise there. Countering the big furniture with a low volume of decor still allows those big furnitures to have clean lines. And so it can, although they're big, it probably is still sort of a clean landscape to look at. So it's not distracting, which is good. Good compromise.
Now, more of our audience reported their bedrooms as what we'll call works in progress. Jean says, small, plain, and uncluttered. Would like to get a cheerful slipcover for my older wingback chair. I have a Charleston rice bed, small chest that works as a night table with the Chippendale mirror over it. Cozy and simple, early Virginian. I love my sanctuary. I would like wood floor instead of a carpet, but that is pretty far down the wish list.
It sounds great. And you can get to the slip cover sooner than you can get to a new floor. That would be a nice improvement to make in the room. And then you'll be down to one thing left. So that's awesome. You're very close to being done.
PJ says, having been listening to Gail and Ed for many years now, with their help and inspiration from the Clutter Fairy family, I'm pleased to report that the primary bedroom is a genuine work in progress, but it's also at least 80% there to my dream
Ooh,
bedroom.
that's cool.
I make the bed each morning and keep the floor clean, laundry in the basket, and chair drobe clear. Every other day, I'll run a 5-minute reset on the nightstand to keep that tidy too. And then in her answer to the other survey questions, she goes on to describe the ideal bedroom she's steadily working toward.
Thanks for listening, PJ. We appreciate that you've been an audience member for so long. I'm glad the Clutter Fairy family has helped you get it there. If you're keeping the floor clear and you're keeping the laundry in the basket and the chair drobe is clear, you're really rocking the habits that keep your sanctuary in a good shape. So congrats on that. And it sounds like you're this far away from getting it done. That's wonderful.
Kit says tidy except for a slowly shrinking collection of things in
Mm,
bins in a corner that need permanent homes or to leave, and occasionally a small stack of boxes of project in progress that we don't want in the front room when guests come over.
mm.
Okay, and spouse still routinely leaves laundry on top of the cedar chest, but the floor is nearly always clear and safe.
That's good.
Okay, and there's now a collection of frame family photos that spouse hasn't hung on the wall. They're on top of the dresser until that's done. But we really do keep our clothes put away 95% of the time and don't have collections of random crap or shopping bags or else in there.
That's really reporting some great progress. You're doing great. And as long as the bins of sort of unpacked things keep shrinking, the collection that you have in the room that you're trying to go put things away, then you're going to be clear of that one day soon. So just keep on it and keep going to shrink those bins in the corner, shrink, shrink, shrink until you get them out of there. And then you'll be really happy with the end result. Good job.
Well, that there's an element in Kit's description that um occurred in several people's responses, mentioning that as she said it, occasionally a small stack of boxes of project in progress that we don't want in the front room when guests come over. It seems like the bedroom is often the place in smaller homes where you hide stuff when
Mm-hmm.
company is coming. And that's a shame. That's, sort of putting yourself second.
To your own detriment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think if you feel like it's super important for them not to see a project, then I think you have to consider it. You're getting ready for their visit, you move them out of the way, and when you go, just like stripping the bed of their sheets to go, put them in the wash, you should move that project back out of your bedroom so that you don't have to live with the results of that visit, while they're there for a week or 2 weeks or two
Well, or
days.
just somebody coming by for the evening. She didn't really say house guests necessarily, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you clear away, you hide stuff because people are stopping by for drinks, and then it stays in your bedroom
For the
until
next 6 months. Yeah,
yeah,
like
until you take action on it.
you don't want to do that. So I
Yeah.
think make it a priority to finish the project, whatever it is. And B, if you're going to move it out, it's worth moving back so that it is back in front of you as a project to be done and it's not littering your bedroom. And you're going to go in that bedroom every night and the guests aren't going to be there every day. So you shouldn't suffer long term for a short fix when they come to visit for a short time. Good to pay attention to that.
Would you believe I actually have gotten I have some feedback on the dog bone shaped dog treats, so we're gonna have to come back to that. Isn't that
Ah,
who knew that would be a hot topic today,
controversy
right?
today.
Um, so most of the rest of our survey respondents report being in more of a treading water stage of the development of their bedrooms.
Yeah,
Carla says, I have lots of bags and boxes of things still waiting to be put away, mostly things I cleared when guests were coming. There's
as we
that,
were just
there's
saying,
that
right?
familiar story.
They're not really going anywhere until you dig in those bags and boxes of things. So it's time to make a plan to clear them up. Set some appointments with yourself to clear a bag, one a day if you need to do it slowly, and get a little exercise putting some things away. It's a bag that you accumulate, but it's usually, 90% of what's in the bag isn't hard. It just needs 10 minutes of your attention. So even if you come upon something that you aren't sure about what to do with, there's going to be a whole bunch of things that you can solve the problem immediately. So even if you shrink it down to a few things that you don't know what to do with, all the rest of it will be gone and it'll be that much less of a problem in your bedroom. So time to dig in, sister.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to Victoria, who offered a one-word description of her current bedroom. Unpleasant. She says her ideal bedroom would be restful, relaxing, desirable.
Yeah, if you have to say that your bedroom is unpleasant, that does not mean that you're in, like, think about it, you're so tired and you walk into the bedroom and it does not greet you, it hisses at you. And if your bedroom is hissing at you, then that means that that room needs attention. And you are 100% the beneficiary of any work that you do in there. So, yeah, it's a hassle and yeah, there's work to do and yada yada yada. But you are the person that benefits 100% from any work that you do there. Totally worth it.
If your bedroom is hissing at you, it could also mean that a raccoon has gotten in there, and that's a separate issue. Um, okay, let's move on. The next question we asked in our survey was about the vision, how you wish your bedroom looked. We asked our audience to share a description of the ideal state of your main bedroom. And we're talking aspirations here. So we suggested that respondents could feel free to write in terms of appearance, mood, activities, contents, decor, or whatever elements would make your bedroom just right. Leila says, exactly as it is, spacious with decor that focuses on our favorite people and our hobbies and interests.
That really sounds lovely. Spacious feeling is very relaxing too, and I often in when I'm in clients' houses, I suggest to them that they move furniture around or pick up something to clear just to open up a space a little bit wider so there's more way to walk, that it's easier to walk through and there's
Hmm.
not, it doesn't feel crowded or goat traily. And
Cramped.
I think that removing that feeling of crampedness is a very relaxing thing to do to the bedroom, even if you can't do something else. If you can clear the pathway a little bit or open up a part of the room, I think it really helps in terms of the feeling of relaxation there.
JM says, an island of sanity and serenity in a frenzied world, a
Mm.
place to sit quietly in the window seat and read, contemplate, or journal, a place to lay my weary head and sleep deeply and peacefully.
That's a vivid description of the perfect place and a great goal to aim for. Celebrate everything that you do in service to this vision. Everything you change or improve gets you closer to it. And I think you've touched on all the things that I've talked about. It needs to be serene, it needs to be quiet, and you are coming to the bed tired, you have a weary head, you need to sleep well, and anything that you can do to make that better for yourself, you're going to be the one that sleeps better and is happier in the bedroom. So go for it, JM.
Okay, let's see. I gotta find my place again. Catherine says, plenty of space to move around, bookshelves lining the walls, good lighting, room for a bed and a chair.
Because sometimes you need a chair instead of sitting on the side of the bed. Or maybe the bed's too high to sit on the edge comfortably. A chair by the bed is a cozy luxury in the bedroom. And, it can make putting your shoes on in the morning easier.
Carrie likes dark, cozy, smooth sheets and pillowcases.
Mm.
iPad in bed to listen to YouTube videos, including you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for taking us to bed with you. I hope that we're good company when we're there.
Anita O says, minimalist and peaceful, all the nighttime comforts in easy reach.
Just make the list of all the nighttime comforts short if you want to match the minimalist description. Maybe if the list of nighttime comforts is longer, you can aim for minimalish instead. But I think having all the things that are comforts to you in at night are really important.
Okay, so now let's get to really, I think, the meat of the survey, which was
Mm,
things that are not working for you yet in the bedroom. We
right.
asked, what factor or factors stand in the way of having that just right bedroom you described above? And CEE, that is, says
Yeah.
lack of time to complete sorting and no dedicated office space in house at this time. I feel
Mm.
like when I do have time, much is tossed or trashed. In between times, things get mixed up and shifted unintentionally.
So you've learned that what you focus on is easily handled or at least easily reduced. Did you tell me you don't have dedicated office space in this house because there is office stuff in your primary bedroom with nowhere to go? If that's the case, then finding a place to store office supplies or tools is a priority. Maybe a bookcase with cabinet doors or a space in another closet, another room. If there isn't a space to use as an office, maybe it's time to rethink how much of those supplies you really need to store. Plan to operate on a much leaner supply list and purchase things you need when you need them only. I'm describing adjusting to your space's reality until you move again, and maybe in a new place you might have a dedicated office space. But if you don't have one now, then adjusting to that reality is part of clearing out your bedroom, it seems like.
Yeah. Couple of comments I want to share. Naomi mentioned, there we go. Can't totally calm my bedroom because it is also my office and I can't change that.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so there are people, who living in studios and bedroom apartments who
Yeah.
make their bedroom has to be their office.
And so they're like sharing space, which is fine. But I
Yeah.
think if that's going to be the truth for you, if that's the reality, then you really want that space to be functional for you, but minimal. Like you don't want to recreate a full office in your bedroom. You want to create the leanest footprint that you can, and you want to be able to. You don't want to also store a bunch of supplies in there. Like maybe you keep a little working set of things that you need to use at the desk, but if you're, doing a bunch of computer work and you don't need a whole bunch of supplies, maybe those don't have to be in the bedroom in your makeshift shared office. Maybe they can be somewhere else. And I would also look at ways to put things behind so they're not visible. So if there are things that have to be in there, um, make them be behind a cabinet door or make them be in a box that you can put a lid on or something so that you're seeing the footprint of the office supplies, but not as a loose collection of stuff everywhere. Maybe you have one decorative box or one, you know, innocuous box that is a cleaner surface to look at than the pile of stuff. So aim for hiding the office supplies that you have to have in there and keeping your footprint for the office as minimal as possible in the bedroom.
Okay, let's go on. Let's see. Sorry, I'm having a worse time than usual managing all my windows today. Uh, an anonymous respondent said, thinking of things to make note of just before I fall asleep and needing to journal every morning creates paper clutter, even though it probably opens up and dumps out head clutter.
That head clutter needs a place to live so it doesn't interrupt your sleep. So, being able to write it down so that you can release it for the night is important to plan for in your room. So, I say you need one book for journaling and another book for jotting down nighttime notes. And then you've got no loose paper clutter. You just have two slim volumes on the nightstand, and they each have a specific purpose. I'm journaling in this one, I'm taking notes in that one, and then you're done. And so you can keep a couple pins there, and that is a low volume footprint on your nightstand that doesn't have to be creating a paper pile. And inevitably, people overload a nightstand with loose paper as if it was a larger table. And of course, it's not. It's a very small surface, and things always fall over the sides. They fall off the front, they fall off the back. And, the next time you go digging around the back of the nightstand, you find 25 pieces of paper that fell over at some point and you lost track of them. So it's worth trying to corral that stuff for sure.
Well, that sounds to me too, as if several people have mentioned paper accumulation. In fact, the next comment from Ria. Ria says, the bedroom becomes a dumping ground for papers. I don't always put things away, although my dressers and closet and are decluttered and have room, just bad habits.
Mm,
And of course, my old friend procrastination.
right. It's hard to think about putting things away after you've crawled into bed. So, as a night person, I delay getting into bed until I put those things up. A morning person would likely do that when they get up and start the day. Whatever time works for you, make it a habit to deal with last night's papers at one end of the day or the other. Even if you can't get it all done in one night, if you do several pieces of paper clutter each time, eventually you'll get your room cleared out, and then you'll have a habit established that can clear you each day before you go to bed or after you get up.
I'm curious to what paper people are accumulating in the bedroom and whether there's another habit, an outside the habit outside the bedroom habit that needs to change. Like if you are cl cleaning out your purse in the bedroom,
Often I
or
see people are looking at
what do you think?
mail in the bedroom.
Oh, looking
Like
at mail in the
they pull
bedroom.
the mail, or they have looked at the mail and they've created things that they're going to read. You know,
Gotcha.
here's the flyer, here's the
Right.
pamphlet, here's the whatever that I need to check at, and I read in bed. Therefore, I take it to the nightstand so that I will read it at night. And either they don't read them all, or they read it and then they feel like they can't throw it away after they read it.
Yeah.
So they're going to read it and then they think they need to go save it, and it never goes the last step to be filed or put where they want or hung up on the bulletin board or wherever they think that they need to keep up with it. And so
Yeah.
it becomes a way station while they consume and then don't read and then don't take the next step. Another reason why I wouldn't assign them to happen in the bedroom,
Right. Right. I would say don't, yeah, don't, if you want your
move that
bedroom
function.
to be a restful retreat, don't under any circumstances take the mail in there
Yeah.
because, I mean, for one thing, the mail is junk and bad news for the most part. You know what I
It's
mean?
bills and things to
Like,
do
yeah,
and people to pay and
there's hardly ever any really, great news in the mail.
right.
You have won the lottery. You don't get that news by mail.
Right. Exactly. But it's true. I mean, the mail, when the mail comes, it's just it's errands and things to do and people you have to contact and stuff that is chores and to-do lists.
Right, and
And
things to think about and
that
things to
annoys
keep
people.
yourself awake at night with.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, move that process out of the bedroom if you can, for sure.
Okay, Lynn blames the state of the bedroom on mental exhaustion. I just don't want to explore the boxes. I don't want to make any decisions regarding contents, but I'm afraid to donate an unopened box.
You don't know how those boxes were packed up, so you really have no idea what's in there. It's not helpful to donate unopened boxes. Plus, you can get around mental exhaustion by not tackling all the things at once. Better that you open one box without planning to finish it in one sitting. Take a few things out and see what you find. Maybe you can thin it out just by pulling out what you know is trash to you now. Or just handle a few of the items in the box and stop. Come back to it for 15 minutes, several days or nights in a row until you get it done. And then start again with a new box. That process, we always think that we have to do the whole thing in one sitting. We have to eat the whole elephant in one meal. And you really don't. You can chip away at it and make short progress on it and not have to have a whole bunch of, mental energy to work on it. You just need a few minutes to look at a few things every night and make something disappear, or every morning whenever you feel like it. Eventually you'll get there, and you will feel a lot less exhausted when you have finally ticked your way through all those boxes. However long it takes, however slowly you need to do it, just make the effort to do a little bit at a time.
Okay, Dawn says not having or taking the time in small swatches to keep it attractive. I have the same
Yeah.
issue with my armoire. Yesterday, I ended up having to refresh a couple of the shelves and found some items I was missing. Now they're in the right homes. Each time I think it will be easy. All it takes is two or three times of later, in quotes, and it's easy for it to get messed up.
That's really true. Sometimes the density affects how easy it is to reset. If your armoire is very well packed, a few items out of place can cause a problem sooner. You might see if reducing the contents of the armoire makes it easier to put things away, and you can go a bit longer before reset is needed. Sometimes, if the Tetris of how you put things away in a drawer or a cabinet is very tight and very exacting to make it all fit exactly right, it has to be Tetrised in exactly the certain way. One item moved messes up the Tetris, and it becomes much harder to put it back. And so, if you're struggling to fit it in, or your Tetris is very exacting and has a very strict, guideline about how it will fit, you may want to see if you can thin those contents out and make it easier for you to maneuver. And that might make it less of a hassle and easier to reset.
Okay, so we looking through all the responses about what factors are keeping our audience members from having their just right bedrooms. We've summarize the most common issues. So why don't you go through those quickly for us?
Sure. The first one is too many items in the room, whether that's furniture or objects or decor. If there's too many things, it's hard to clean, it's hard to work around, it's hard to get in there. It's hard to reset. And so having too many things in the room is really a problem for most people. Using the bedroom to hide things from visitors, we talked about that earlier.
Right?
If your bedroom is your, hidden closet, then you are basically saying, I'm going to live with a storage unit in part of my bedroom. And that sure, it hides things from visitors, but it also makes you have to live with it. So you probably need to rethink that strategy, or at least figure out a way to pull it in and then take it back out again as part of your coping with the visitors.
We included hiding place, chaotic hiding place in the title of today's episode
Mm,
for this very reason. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a double entendre because it can be your place to hide from the world when you want peace and quiet,
mm,
but it also seems to be for a lot of people the place they hide what they don't want the world to see when the world
right.
intrudes in their home.
Right? And so there's only two solutions to that. One, you pull it out when they come and you put it back so it's not in the bedroom. Or two, you deal with the chaos and then get rid of it so that it's not there and you don't have to put it away anymore. You don't have to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
So another problem is that things don't get put away regularly. And as in any room in the house, that's true. If you don't put things away regularly, then you end up with piles of stuff and it becomes chaos. And so, how you approach those kinds of chores will impact your ability to find the bedroom to be peaceful. And it's worth the effort in the room where you're trying to get sleep and recover. And if you can't do it in other rooms, if you can put whatever energy you have towards that into fixing the bedroom for yourself, then you're the one that benefits from it. You're the one that will get better sleep because of it, and then it won't be unpleasant, as our viewer said. It won't be unpleasant to look at. So that's what you're aiming for, so that you can go to bed and not be jacking up your anxiety or jacking up your irritation when you go in there. You want to go in there and breathe a sigh of relief and go to bed calmly, and that's one of the ways you can help yourself do that. Sometimes the need to clean takes precedence over decluttering, so people start cleaning stuff, and they
Just
do that part,
push the
yeah,
boxes around and clean
instead of
around
trying to
them. Yeah.
declutter, yeah. And so that's sometimes a problem. Furniture doesn't fit well in the space, and this happens often when people downsize in particular, but generally when you move from one house to the other, you had all the things in the old house set to fit all the nooks and crannies of the old house and the size of the rooms in the old house, and then you get a new space and it's not laid out the same, and it doesn't have the same room sizes, and things don't fit anymore. They don't work in the new place. And so particularly when you downsize from a larger house to a smaller one, you can try to take some of that furniture with you, but most likely that furniture was designed to fit a much larger space, much larger rooms, in a much larger house. And when you downsize, you're jamming that same furniture in with a crowbar into the new space. So pay attention to that. If your furniture is too big and it doesn't fit well, it's time to move that furniture on and get some that does fit well, because you will be more comfortable that way. Habits are a part of the problem. This room, almost more than any other, seems to be subject to the accumulation of clutter forming habits and to the neglect of organizing habits, like putting away laundry properly and putting other things back into their original parking space. So this is one of the places where if you don't have habits for resetting and you don't have habits for managing stuff that's not complete, then you end up living with the results of those unformed habits in your bedroom with you. And we want you to have a calmer space than that. So pay attention to those habits. And then, we focus on other higher priorities like the public areas of the house. We think the public areas have to look great for that person that is going to ostensibly drop by unannounced, or a planned visit from somebody. And so we focus on the public areas and we consider the bedroom a private area and we don't give it any attention. And so we use all our energy up on making it look good for others and don't give any of our energy to our own care and our own well-being. And I think that that's while I understand the impulse to do that, 100%, I do it too. But I think we have to recognize that some of our energy has to be put towards the places that affect only us because it's our house and our sleep and our life. And having that bedroom support your ability to get good sleep every night is super important. So,
Well, and I'm thinking too of like Dana K. White's strategy of dealing with the most, what you see first
mm-hmm,
first. And so if you're working your way from the most visible areas of the house to the least visible areas of the house, the bedroom is going to be the thing that tends to get neglected if you never finish that process.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
always in the process of keeping the foyer and the living room and the kitchen and the bathroom that guests go into and the guest room that guests occasionally stay in. If you do, all of that stuff gets put ahead of the bedroom in the pecking order.
mm-hmm. Yeah, you're way out of steam by the time you get to your own bedroom. And I think it's worth changing your focus for a time
Right.
and saying, I'm not going to worry about those other areas. I'm going to worry about my bedroom for a while and try to get that down to something that feels good. And then I'll go back to worrying about the public areas.
Okay, let's go back to the survey. We had our just for fun question was about the most out of place stuff people are finding in their bedrooms right now. We said list an item currently in your primary bedroom that you acknowledge has absolutely no business being in the bedroom. It didn't make it onto the list because the response came just this morning, but Ginger mentioned that she has an axe in the bedroom and she had a very serious reason, which was, the really kind of panic after Hurricane Katrina because of the horror stories of people where the floodwaters rose so quickly they had to go out through the roof.
Oh, right, right,
you
right.
know. But she has finally decided that it's time to take the axe out of the bedroom.
To let that go. And I think that you can consider that a hurricane supply. Like that's a reasonable
Right,
response.
right.
And we had that problem in Harvey, and lots of people had to like burst up through their roofs to get out on the top of the roof in order to be rescued. And so you can think of it as a hurricane supply. And when it's hurricane season, you can put it with the candles and the battery powered fan and
And the
the
jugs of
the
water. Yeah,
composting toilet and the jugs of water. Like you can be
right.
there with that stuff, and you can pull it out when you know a hurricane's coming and you're concerned it's going to land near you, and then otherwise you don't have to sleep with it in your bedroom.
Leela says my husband's Dallas Cowboys decor.
I totally agree with that, and my little sister would totally disagree. You might need to negotiate a compromise with your husband. He can keep his decor, it just needs to be moved out of the bedroom to somewhere else. What room would you be willing to surrender a part of to the Dallas Cowboys collection? I think if it's a big collection, yeah, maybe it needs to be in another room in the house, and then you don't have to sleep with it, and maybe you just have to see it in another part of your house.
Yeah, and the blue and silver color scheme is going to fight with almost anything else you're trying to do in your home.
Right, right, exactly. So it needs to be a Dallas Cowboy wall or window or bedroom or whatever, but not the one that you sleep in.
Anita says, under a chair, I have a box with a screwdriver and other DIY things. I have no idea why I chose this to be its home.
Because the empty space was there and you couldn't stub your toe on it if it was under there. It's probably worth moving it to a new parking spot. I would, just consider that it might not be best serving you in the bedroom.
Ria says, an exercise ball. We'll relocate it. Now, so
Good
many
job.
people in their responses to this question said, well, I have such and such, and you know what? I'm going to get rid of that.
I'm moving it. Right?
Um, the Mags says, boxes of my sand collection that do not have homes. Sand that has been collected from around the world, now stored in boxes stacked in my bedroom corner.
I think that sounds like an art project. You need to brainstorm with your crafty friends about how you can display that collection. You don't want the art installation of your sand collection to be boxes in your bedroom. So, figuring out if it's worth collecting the sand and you're going to commemorate all of your trips with sand, then you need to figure out a way to display that in some artful form so that you can see the sand and remember your trips, and it's not sand stacked in boxes in the corner of your bedroom where nobody's looking at it and you're not even looking at it. Like, why collect it if you don't have a way to display it? And so I would, call some of your crafty friends and start talking to them about how you can make that work.
Catherine says, an old cell phone that hasn't been used in more than a decade, but that I don't know how to recycle.
Well, that's easy enough to research. You just need to Google cell phone recycling near me to get your local options. And also, Best Buy recycles all kinds of electronics, including phones. So you can head to a Best Buy store and drop off all kinds of recycling electronics there. They do a big business of it, and then they, send it on to um, electronic recyclers. They
Now
just
that
serve that function in the marketplace.
that does vary by location, so check with your
Sure.
Best Buy though,
Yeah,
because
you need to
they're
find
not
out.
they don't consistently do it, I'm afraid. Um,
So do that, but
yeah,
Google. You just need to
yeah,
Google
but
cell phone recycling near me. So what whoever's doing electronic recycling, whether public or private, I'm sure it'll pop in a Google search.
Gusia, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says a lamp that doesn't work, not often, and some not often used exercise equipment.
Right? It's time to queue up those for the heavy trash pickup and let someone pick them from the trash pile if they want. You can always put them out a few, like the weekend before it's heavy trash day. And so put it out at the beginning of the weekend and see if somebody doesn't walk off with it before the trash man come.
Susan says, can't choose just one item. I em I emptied a box of random things onto the floor, the idea being to sort them, as the bedroom is a comfortable place to be. But I haven't done it. It's overwhelming.
If that process was too much, I'd skip the sorting part of that equation. Just go to the pile you made and pick up one item to deal with. Put it away, throw it away, donate it away, whatever works. Come back again if you can, or come back tomorrow if you need to. Just repeat the process of pulling out one item at a time to handle each day until you've got the pile gone. What could go wrong? The pile is too much as it is, so if it takes you 2 weeks to clear the pile, one thing at a time, who cares? It can still get you to the finish line if you just go grab one at a time. And don't worry about trying to sort it anymore.
PJ says, a bag of craft materials I bought about 2 months ago. I'll go unpack it into the den now. Thank you for the prod.
You're welcome.
We're
Good job
organ
on
we're,
that.
we're organizing by remote control
I
again.
know. I love that.
Okay, this is my favorite. Kit
I
says, steampunk Zeppelin that father-in-law designed and built. It's boxed and will come out every dragon season for display, but needs a climate-controlled environment in the meantime. Spouse continues to create room in the closet, so it may go there soon.
Here's hoping it can find an out of season parking space in his closet. It's a reasonable thing to give it a year round storage, just like we do for Christmas stuff. If it's something that you take out every year, then for a short period of time, and then it goes back, then it definitely needs a, out in season, out of season parking space. You need to be able to go park it somewhere so it's out from underfoot.
I need someone to explain to me what dragon season is. Are you familiar with that?
No, and I also need somebody to explain to me what a steampunk Zeppelin would look like.
Well, you know what the steampunk style is,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, I do. Absolutely.
And Zeppelin is inf is Zeppelin rigid or Zeppelin's inflatable or rigid? I forget. It's a flying machine. It's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gas
I
filled
think we need a
flying
picture of
machine.
that,
Yeah, we
right? I
really
think
do. That sounds like a fascinating object.
that we need to see.
Okay, and here's one. We frequently hear about exercise equipment. An anonymous said, haha, one item. I'll go with the largest, a treadmill that requires a small two-person fix. Should be in the basement, preferably, or else in somebody else's home.
Mm.
I did place an over-the-door multi-hook piece on one arm, which is great for hanging overnight bags and hats or to dry herbs in a different season. S-hooks also practical on the tread tips that are folded up. I
Oh
do
no.
want to use this treadmill. Need muscle to move it downstairs and around challenging corners, re the stairwell.
So it is worth it to check into the local movers who likely have a flat minimum rate to move something like that to a new floor. They can send two guys over to make that happen, and hopefully they've done it a few times before. When it's something large and heavy like that, they need a little bit of expertise to negotiate it down the stairs without taking out your walls. So better to hire some professionals instead of just some random guys down the street, because they will think they can carry it down and then they'll lose control of it in your hallway and take out your wall. So you really want somebody that knows what they're doing. And yes, it might cost you a few $100s, but if that's the difference between having it in your bedroom and getting it down somewhere where you will actually use it, I think it's worth the investment to make that happen. So go team, go.
Okay,
There's movies that'll come and help.
here's my favorite comment of the day from this is Pat from Michigan. Pat says, I have a dog bone cookie cutter in the bedroom. Not.
I love you guys. Y'all are so funny.
Okay, so we have time for a few comments, and so I learn a lot from our audience. Um, Andrea says, my thought on dog bone shaped dog treats. The bone shape is appealing to humans. If you're giving the treats as a gift or trying to sell them at a farmer's market, you'll sell more of the bone shaped treats. Dogs, on the other hand, are only concerned with taste.
They don't give a rat's, right? So exactly.
And well, and I mean, a lot of the dogs aren't even concerned with taste. It's like they recognize it as food.
And
They
therefore
can
here.
smell that it has protein in it, and so it goes gobble 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 right down the throat. A lot of them don't even chew it.
Right?
But Taro says it also identifies as pet food. My husband ate a round dog cookie once at a fundraiser.
Man, and I have seen other people do that too. Like they think it's a cookie, like an actual cookie, and boy, are they surprised when they bite into it.
Yeah. Now, the dog treats I make are completely edible to human beings, but since they have no added sugar or salt, they are not tasty.
They're pretty
They
tasteless,
are
right?
pretty bland.
That's so funny.
There's apple in there that gives it just the tiniest hint. The apple and pumpkin give it a little tiny bit of sweetness,
Yeah,
but mostly it tastes like nothing to a human being.
right? That's so funny.
Okay, let's see. Um,
Mm.
lots of lots of suggestions about how to deal with the sand collection.
Oh, good. Y'all
Um,
are crowdsourcing the sand collection fix. Go for it.
uh, Linda says inappropriate in bedroom. Ammo for husband's pistol is in bottom drawer of nightstand on my side of the bed.
Oh gosh.
Pistol is safely secured in another room. I've suggested that the ammo might be relocated near the pistol, but no action on that so far.
Well, and sometimes it depends on whether you have kids in your life, right? If they're small people, like people that are trying to keep their guns safe, keep the gun and the ammo separate so that it's less likely for disasters to happen. But yeah, if
Um,
it's all adults in your house, I think you could probably keep them in two different parts of the same room and you don't have to sleep with them in your nightstand.
yeah.
A
Ginger
lot of
mentioned
people have guns in their bedroom and stuff to do that. Yeah, like they have gun safes and things in the bedroom.
Ginger mentioned, that she feels certain that the axe in the bedroom is probably bad feng shui. And she while she herself does not put a lot of stock in feng shui, I do think there's a reality to, if it's there and you're aware of it and you can notice it, you can see it on a regular basis,
Yeah, yeah.
it can turn up in your dreams. It can
Ooh,
it can it can bother your sleep to have something in the bedroom that's just
it feels unsafe.
feels unsafe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Julie says a box of slides of teeth from my dad's dental practice from 60
Ah,
years ago.
that's funny. Yeah, those are that needs to if that's a keepsake, we probably can put that with other keepsake and get that out of the bedroom. That's a good one.
Okay, we are just about out of time, so we need to talk about next week. We've mentioned it earlier. We will be back next week for our book club show. The book is ADD Friendly Ways to Organize Your Life, Strategies that Work from an acclaimed professional organizer and a renowned ADD clinician. by Judith Kohlberg and Kathleen Nadeau. We're going to have a survey on that, and I'm going to try my darndest to get that survey out tomorrow. I've already started, I've already written some of the questions, so I just got to get it together.
All right.
So join us next week, October 14th at the usual time for our book club episode. Even if you haven't read it, I think there will be a
It'll be a
lot
good
to talk about.
discussion.
It's going to be
Hmm.
an interesting discussion. I especially want to hear from members of our audience who have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD to get their takes on the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Please come and participate in the conversation so that we represent you well.
why don't you give us the title?
The title is Cultivate a Bedroom Reset Routine. This week's assignment is to add a 5-minute bedroom reset habit to your daily routine if you don't already have one. Identify the best time of day for a bedroom reset depending on your lifestyle. For morning people, this habit might logically fit between your morning shower and getting dressed for the day. For night owls, consider resetting the bedroom as you're shifting from work clothes to relaxing attire or as part of your getting ready for bed rituals. Select reset tasks that apply to your bedroom habits, such as taking dirty dishes or drinking vessels from the bedroom back to the kitchen, purging the bedside table of trash, materials you finished reading, or electronic devices that you don't wish to keep in the bedroom overnight. Browse all the horizontal surfaces looking for anything that doesn't belong in the bedroom. Return items to their logical homes elsewhere in the house. Gather up dirty laundry that didn't make it into the hamper today and hang anything that's fit to wear again on a hanger or closet hook as appropriate. And then you can write a post-it note or set a phone alert to remind you when it's time to carry out your bedroom reset, and practice this habit for at least a week and notice any difference in the way you feel about your bedroom. I think people are always quite surprised how quickly they can reset if they do it regularly, even if they don't do it every day. But if they do it
Right.
regularly, it's very easy and quick to reset, and then they're super happy with the results of it. And so, if you can develop the habit for yourself, I think it'll be easier than you think, and you will like the end results a lot.
Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, we would love for you to join us live. To get notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group by visiting cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by visiting cfhou.com/Facebook or join our mailing list by visiting cfhou.com/subscribe. We love to hear from our audience, so please keep your questions, comments, and topic suggestions coming on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere that you find us. You can always reach us through our website at clutterfairyhouston.com.
Thanks everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate that you came. Thanks for saying hi to my sister as well. Appreciate that you let her crash the meeting today. And we will be looking forward to talking about the book next week, ADD Friendly Ways to Organize Your Life. So can't wait to hear what everybody has to say about it. If you're having a hard time reading it, thank you for struggling on it. I appreciate it. And come and tell us what you learned from the amounts that you got done. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.